The highs and lows of what was a momentous year gone by. Catch Piers Morgan's review of the year after the ITV News with Alistair Stewart.
Home at last, freed Britain, Peter Moore returns after his 2.5-year kidnap ordeal.
This is the ITV News with Alistair Stewart.
It was a very private homecoming. The 36-year-old computer expert is safe and well and back from Iraq with his family. Also tonight, the latest frontier for terror. Brown targets militants in Yemen. And Ellen's secret, the key to a long and happy life. Good evening. For 2.5 years, terrorists in Iraq held Peter Moore in captivity. Tonight he is back with a happy but very protective family. They've asked for him to be given time to recover and to rebuild his life. We have a lot of catching up to do, they said. Phil Ray-Smith reports on the former captive's final journey to freedom.
Peter Moore returning safely to British soil. For him, a moment of great joy and relief, but tempered with the knowledge that there were others who weren't so lucky. After landing at Bryce Norton, the former hostage was reunited with some family members, while others looked forward to getting their turn.
Well, I feel over the moon over everything, but there are no words to describe how you really do feel. You just feel as though you're going to burst.
My name is Peter Moore.
The 36-year-old computer expert was taken hostage in Baghdad in May 2007. His release on Wednesday came somewhat out of the blue, and his father has criticised the Foreign Office's actions, claiming his son's freedom was down to secret talks held by American negotiators with his captors.
4 weeks ago I did get a tip-off that secret meeting had started to go again between the kidnappers and the Americans. Very hush-hush. The Foreign Office just hadn't got a clue. Completely behind the backs the whole last 6 months with what's been going on.
And so there is still this question of whether a deal was done. Here at the Foreign Office, they strenuously deny any such thing, saying that one man, Qais al-Khazali, leader of a group called the League of Righteousness, who was handed over by the Americans to the Iraqis, was part of an existing prisoner release scheme. Nothing to do whatsoever with the release of Peter Moore. It's not yet clear whether he has any information on the whereabouts of his fourth bodyguard, Alan McMenemy, currently missing, presumed dead. For now, though, Peter Moore's family have appealed for privacy as he puts behind him the ordeal of the past 2.5 years and faces the new struggle of readjusting to normal life. Phil Ray-Smith, ITV News.
Pakistan has suffered one of its worst ever terror atrocities. Local police say at least 88 people died when a suicide bomber blew himself up at a crowded volleyball game. Many children and elderly people were watching the match when the bomber drove his vehicle onto the pitch and detonated it. It's been confirmed an army bomb disposal expert died in Afghanistan on Wednesday. His family has been told. He was the 108th to die in the conflict in 2009. The soldier died after an explosion near Blenheim Army Base at Sangin in Helmand Province. He was from 33 Engineer Regiment Royal Engineers and was part of the task force tackling improvised explosive devices. Gordon Brown's called an international summit to tackle terrorism in Yemen, where the would-be Christmas Day plane bomber was trained. The Prime Minister's also ordered an urgent review of airport security following the failed attack, which he described as a wake-up call. As Paul Davis reports, it could result in full body scans for all passengers.
Some may feel it's an invasion of privacy, technology that can see under your clothes. But the British government appears to be the latest to decide it's an acceptable price to pay if it stops a potential suicide bomber. A full review of airport security is the Prime Minister's response to the attempt to blow up a transatlantic flight as it prepared to touch down in Detroit on Christmas Day. Full-body scanners have already been introduced at American airports. Here, a member of airport staff demonstrates how a concealed weapon can be spotted. In this case, it's a knife, but the same technology could also spot explosives that may not alert conventional metal detectors. It is likely, however, to add even more time to the process of boarding a plane. Experts say the new scanners, while a useful addition to security, are not the complete answer, and that the best defence remains proper use of intelligence to identify those who could pose a threat to their fellow passengers.
We have to start to look at common sense security. We need to profile passengers. We need to treat people differently. When you arrive at the airport, you shouldn't know how you're going to be screened.
In fact, America has admitted conventional security and profiling should have highlighted the threat posed by 23-year-old Umar Farouk Abdul-Muttalab. It's believed Muttalab was given training and explosives by al-Qaeda operatives in Yemen. Today, Gordon Brown also announced Britain would be hosting an international summit to investigate a disturbing pattern of young Muslims being radicalised and set on the path to terrorism in Yemen. Paul Davis, ITV News.
Finally, Ellen Watson had a special reason for a double celebration today. This year marks the 110th time it's been both Happy New Year and Happy Birthday for her. Born on the first day of the previous century, at 110 years old, Ellen Watson can look back on a life in which she's seen 2 world wars, 21 prime ministers and 6 monarchs. And want to know the secret of her good health and long life? Well, it couldn't be simpler.
I like dancing. You have to be naughty sometimes.
Now Ellen is a great-great-grandmother, and many of her rather large family were only too glad to join in today's celebrations.
Happy birthday to you!
Ellen herself was certainly determined to make the most of the party, and as she blew out the candles, her one wish was to be this happy next New Year, when she'll be 111. And that is it. Good night and a very happy New Year to you. Good night.